there. So Unit 5, Lesson 4, you'll notice it says more word problems. Now, last time the word problems were very math-oriented, very like algebraic, very structured. These are more real-world problems, and so they have sort of a system that you may want to use to try to help you break them down. First, highlighting important information. I like to highlight in 2 different colors if I think it has to do with 2 different equations. Define your variables. You need to know what the things you're looking for are. Those will be your variables. Write 2 equations. Make sure that you're looking for totals. If you can find totals, that'll help you set up an equation. Use one of the methods for solving systems of equations, so substitution or rewriting an equation so that you can use substitution. Make sure that you check your answers by substituting the ordered pair that you get back into the original equations, and make sure that they work in the original problem. And then at the end, because it's a word problem, make sure that you actually answer the question in the real world problem with a sentence. Write and solve a system of equations for the problems below. A test has 20 questions worth 100 points. The tests consist of true-false questions worth 3 points each and multiple choice questions worth 11 points each. How many multiple choice questions are on the test? So if you look for the question mark, that'll often tell you what one of your variables are. How many multiple choice questions are on the test? So I'm going to say x equals number of true-false questions, and y equals number of multiple choice questions. And I only did it that way because that's the order that they were written up at the top. True, false was listed first at 3 points each. Multiple choice were listed as 11 points each. And we know that there's a total of 100 points and a total of 20 questions. Now, remember we said in the introduction piece here, look for your totals. So I'm going to have to write one question that has to do with the fact, one equation that has to do with the fact that there's 20 questions, and one that has to do with the 100 points. If you can find your 2 totals, that's the easiest way to sort of split up the 2 equations. So first of all, there's 20 questions. So x, the number of true false, plus y, the number of multiple choice, that's going to add up to 20 total questions. So that one's not too bad. The points one is a little bit trickier. We know that the true-false questions are 3 points each. So each of those x's is worth 3 points. Plus, the multiple choice questions are worth 11 points each. Each of those y's are worth 11, and they have to come to a total of 100 points. So you'll notice I have one equation that has to do with the total number of questions, and one equation that has to do with the total number of points. Now I can start solving them. I'm going to rewrite the first equation for x. So I'm going to take away the y from both sides, and I'm going to get x equals 20 minus y as my other equation. So I just rewrote the first equation. So now 3 times, in place of the x, I'm going to put the 20 minus y plus y equals, plus 11y equals 100. So that's the first equation substituted into the second equation. Instead of 3x, 3 times 20 minus y. So this 20 minus y went in place of the x. Plus 11y equals 100. So I'm going to have 60 minus 3y plus 11y equals 100. I've got to combine. I'm going to get 60 plus 11y. Take away 3y is going to be 8y. I'm going to subtract the 60 from both sides. 8y equals 40, and divide both sides by 8. So I get y equals 5. Now, is that the answer to my question? How many multiple choice questions are on the test? Y equals 5, number of multiple choice questions. So technically, at this point, I could say there are, wow, that's a big space. There are 5 multiple choice questions. And I would actually technically be done. I don't have to find the other one because I happened to find y first. If you happened to find x first, you would need to go back in and say x plus 5 equals 20, so x must be 15, and that would be your number of true-false questions. You can double check if you get this one. 15 times 3 is 45, 5 times 11 is 55, 45 and 55 does add up to 100. But if you check your actual question, I was done rather quickly this time and didn't have to find the other variable. 1,000 tickets to the new Avengers movie were sold. I guess maybe this would be Eternals. Adult tickets cost $8.50. Children's tickets cost $4.50, and a total of $7,300 was collected. How many tickets of each kind were sold? Well, I'm going to look for those totals. There was a total of 1,000 tickets, and there was a total of $7,300 collected. That tells me what my two equations are going to be about. I have how many tickets of each kind. So that means I must need A for number of adult tickets. And you can use any letter that you want. I used A and C because it makes it easier when I get my answers. So 1,000 tickets total. So the A tickets plus the C tickets have to add up to 1,000 tickets. Then I've got the money. Each one of those A tickets costs $8.50, plus each of those child tickets costs $4.50, and I've got to collect $7,300. And this is literally how I would work this out in my head. I probably wouldn't have to say it out loud myself, but in the beginning I did. So the first equation is the easiest one to rewrite. So I might take away C from both sides and get A equals 1,000 minus C. It's just a rewrite of the first equation. Now, anywhere that I have A in the first equation, I can put 1,000 minus C in its place into that second equation. I rewrote the first one. I'm going to substitute it into the second one. So 8.5 times 1,000 minus C plus the 4.5C has to equal 7,300. I'm going to distribute that 8.5. I'm going to get 8,500 minus 8.5C plus 4.5C equals 7,300. So that was just the distributive property, right? 8.5 times 1,000, 8.5 times the minus C. I'm going to combine the terms of the variables. Oh, just 4. C equals 7,300. I'm going to subtract the 8,500 from both sides because I only have one term with a variable. Minus or negative 4C equals negative 1,200. And when I divide both sides by negative 4, I get C equals 300. So we must have sold 300 children's tickets. Now this question said how many tickets of each kind were sold. So I can't just stop there. I have to make sure I also go and find, sorry about that, the number of adult tickets, which is not terrible. A plus C equals 1,000. So adult tickets plus the 300 children's equals 1,000. Take away 300, and there must have been A equals 700 or 700 adult tickets sold. Don't forget, you need a sentence for your final answer. So I'll squeeze it in over here. 700 adult and 300 child tickets were sold. And I have fit the bill. All right, so any questions, make sure that you're asking, and always refer back to that box at the top. Think about what are your totals, two different equations that have to come up to those totals, and then solving for the system of equations. Make sure you've got a final answer with words.